Welcome to another episode of Flickering Myth Gaming 7-Day Replay. I'm your host this week, Gerald James, and unfortunately Alan's out because he knew that if he was here with me this week, it would be nothing but 20 minutes of us laughing as we go down the Mario cast list. Anyway, we've got some news this week, mostly dealing with the Nintendo Direct. Let's hop right into it. So, speaking of that Nintendo Direct, I'm going to go ahead and say that we've been on the money with our leaks lately. Mainly because we use rational thinking to determine which ones are probably likely or not. But that doesn't negate the fact that we're on fire. So I'm going to start off by letting you know about another leak slash rumor that I think has legs here. And that's that Quantic Dream is developing a Star Wars title. Quantic Dream, of course, known for Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Human, Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls. Two Human was a completely different game. It was absolute garbage. But this is interesting because it's not the type of developer that you would see getting a title like this because they only work in narrative stuff, really. And I think that this is something that we'll see come to fruition, mainly because Star Wars is trying their hand with a bunch of different things these days ever since EA botched the series. And I see nothing but good things coming from this, no matter how you feel about David Cage and his game style. Either way, this is something that I think has legs and something to look forward to. I just wanted to throw another rumor on the pile of, hey, we were right, whenever this one comes to fruition. Speaking of, hey, we were right, guess what? There was a Nintendo Direct in September, just like every year. I know, people were surprised for some reason that this would happen, but if you pay attention to the channel, you know, we called that shit. Anyway, let's dive into it and see what they decided to show us and if it was worth it or not. So one of the things that they did show off that was really exciting to me personally, because we talked about it last week, was the Castlevania Advance Collection. Thankfully, this came to pretty much everything, not just Switch, but this had 4 games, which, you know, I expected 3. Well, 3 from the Game Boy Advance era and 1 that was Dracula X. It's the American version, or what we got in place of Rondo of Blood, that is apparently much harder than Rondo of Blood. I love Shadow Drops. I've made no secret of this. I was really excited to see this. I picked it up the moment it was available because this is my jam. We're in spooky season. Of course I want to go around beating up horror baddies with a whip or a sword or whatever. Castlevania is the good stuff. I'm here for it. I'm glad it's out. Another Shadow Drop they hit us with was ActRaiser Renaissance. Now, if you're unfamiliar, ActRaiser was one of the games on the Super Nintendo that was kind of a big hit. It was a weird god sim slash side-scrolling action adventure RPG. It's weird to describe on paper, but this was a solid game. I played a lot of it back on the Super Nintendo, and I'm excited that it came out. This was out of left field to me. I like the idea that they're kind of testing the waters with these remasters and remakes to see if people are interested in that series anymore. And I think this will be a good pick for it. I haven't bought this one yet because last week was a little crowded with games for the old wallet. But I'm looking forward to diving into this one. It looks good. I've watched some people dive into it on Twitch, and some people are complaining about the art style with the 2.5D, kind of reminiscent of Bloodstained. But I liked it. I had no problem with that art style, so nothing against it from me. Another announcement from this Direct that I can honestly say I was not expecting was a new Chocobo racing game called Chocobo GP. Of course, Chocobo Racing was Square Enix's kart racer, where you played as little Final Fantasy characters running around, and it's a Mario Kart ripoff. I mean, that's all it is, right? It's a Final Fantasy Mario Kart ripoff. I didn't expect to ever see it come back. It's a weird call. But you know what? I'm here for it. Can't say I'm going to buy it, but I'm here for it. Square Enix is making some weird moves lately. I'll just leave it at that. Speaking of weird moves, they showed off Splatoon 3. I okay. I I get it. They want to have their kind of annual franchise because let's face it here. Splatoon is new maps and palette swaps. It's something that they can churn out very quickly, slap that $60 premium price tag on, and you people will eat it up. Granted, Squid Kids, kind of cool, kind of fun, but I think we're going a little too fast with these. Slow down and focus on some of the other games that you've got coming out or other, IPs that you've got in your back pocket that you haven't done much with. And then we'll come back to Squid Kids when there's something new to say in the Squidiverse. That being said, speaking of revisiting IPs that they had in kind of exciting new ways, they showed off a new Kirby title, which looks to be a very melodramatic take on post-apocalyptic America, showing what happens when climate change goes too far, kills us all off, and we are all turned into monsters and a pink blob that sucks up people and gains their powers. Either way, this game actually looks really, really cool. I can't remember if there's ever been a 3D Kirby. It's always been kind of on a two-dimensional plane. So this is exciting for that reason alone. And I'm really stoked to see what they do with this. This one, yeah, again, kind of a big surprise to me. I assumed we'd see some Kirby soon, but I thought it'd be another two-dimensional title. So I'm here for it. Bring me the pink ball of fluff. So, of course, the big news to come out of here was, something everyone's been waiting to hear about. They knew it was happening, but they needed more information, and we've been waiting patiently ever so long to finally get some more drippings of information about the Mario movie. Of course, you thought I was going to talk about that other thing. No. So they came out and gave us a cast list for the Mario movie. To say these names out loud is to put a curse on everything you've loved dear. I'm going to try to do it justice because I don't have it written down in front of me, but this was... You don't forget something like this. We have in the titular role of Mario one Chris Pratt, because why the hell not? Whenever I think of Mario and that, here we go, I always imagine Chris Pratt doing that. And here's the thing about this movie. If they would have stopped there, I'd been like, this is dumb. I have no interest. This is just ridiculous. I wouldn't have cared. But they went and had to make this so dumb that it's hard to ignore. It's inignorable. After that, Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be Princess Peach. This one is fine. I've liked some of the things I've seen her in. I've got nothing against her. But yet again, it's like, okay. It's an interesting choice, but not something that's gonna make me roll over and die with laughter. Another one that was announced was that we're getting Charlie Day as Luigi. Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny and I guess Godzilla or something, but is going to be doing the voice of Luigi. I'm sorry. Okay, if you've ever seen It's Always Sunny, you know why. The idea of the younger brother who gets the shit work being played by Charlie Day is pretty funny because he's kind of perfect for Luigi, but I don't know if he can do a voice that makes me say that's a Luigi. We got Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, which will be interesting because in the deep lore of the Mario series, Toad is a race, not a individual person. So I wonder if he will be the voice of all Toads. and maybe, hopefully, toadettes. Another one that, Jesus Christ. I'm just, I'm going to try to get through these quickly. I'm sorry, this is too hilarious to me. Jack Black as Bowser. Yeah, Jack Black as Bowser. So he's going to be Claptrap and Bowser. He is going to become the new Ryan Reynolds of video game movies. You're not going to be able to see a video game movie without seeing or hearing Jack Black. It's going to make your head explode. You're going to hate it. There's others, but I'm just going to leave it on the most inspired casting of all of this, which was Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. Not a bad word to say there. He's Cranky Kong. He's Cranky Kong. He's perfect for it. If you've been following us long enough, you already know that I've called this. I said once the world started to sour a bit on comic book movies, it's going to be nothing but video game movies. It's going to become a dreadnought of video game movies, just trying to capture that cheap IP that they can get out and everyone knows and be like, oh my god, I always wanted to see Jack Black as Bowser. We're in the darkest timeline, y'all. I don't know. Looking at this cast list, it says to me, you know what? That Borderlands cast was pretty spot on. Kate Blanchett as Lilith, everyone should have seen that one coming. Idris Elba as Knuckles. Yeah, I mean, that's the world we live in now. Just accept it. This is weird. It's stupid. I kind of hate it, but I'm going to be there opening night. Oh yeah, and there's that other thing, Bayonetta 3. You know, the game that everyone's been anticipating for, I don't know, 7 years? Is that how long it's been since it was announced? Hey, we finally saw a trailer. We finally know what's going on. It's been reintroduced. They've promised us 2022, which is next year. So I'll be honest, I'm happy for Bayonetta fans. I was never in that group. Nothing against Bayonetta, but it never appealed to me. Just, slick action games like that. There's a certain type of people that really like them. Like, I appreciate it. I appreciate Devil May Cry. And I appreciate other games of their ilk, but it just never really appealed to me. But, Bayo fans, happy for you. Cheers. In your upcoming games, you've got a trio of heavy hitters coming out this week. Starting off on the 28th, we've got Lemnis Gates coming to the Xboxes, PlayStations, and PC. This one, if you haven't paid attention, is a weird hybrid of real-time strategy first-person shooter where you've got 25 seconds to make a play, and then your opponent has 25 seconds to react or counteract. It's a really interesting concept. I believe the game comes out at $20, so it's not a huge investment, and it's going to be free on Game Pass. So it's an interesting idea. I'm excited to see how it plays and where they go with this. On the 29th, we have Melty Blood Lumina coming out, the prequel to the hit fighting game Melty Blood, which I just love the name Melty Blood. That's coming to most platforms. And then lastly, on the 30th, we have Hot Wheels Unleashed coming to everything. I know you're excited because those Hot Wheels, they were leashed before. There's just too much holding them back. But thankfully, now we can see what these Hot Wheels can do off the leash, which probably means go around the loop-de-loop. And finally this week, for my game suggestion, I'll be honest, last week was a little too heavy. So my main suggestion is going to be whatever the hell you want to play. You have plenty of options out there. That being said, if you want to know what I chose to put most of my time in with what came out, surprisingly, even though I bought Diablo 2 and I bought the Castlevania Advanced Collection, I've been going back and spending time with that director's cut of Death Stranding on PS5. I was looking for an excuse to replay this game after it was my game of the year for 2019. And just that 60 frames per second makes it worth it, but especially with ultra wide mode. And, the new content kind of alleviates the grind a little bit. You get some of those accessories that help with the currying, I don't know, couriering. Helps with that a little bit faster than you did in the base game. I'm loving playing this in that ultra wide mode. It's absolutely beautiful. It changes the field of view a little bit to give it more of a, and I hate saying this when talking about games, more of a cinematic look. And it really draws you in. This game was really made for this. I highly recommend playing this on PS5. If you don't have a PS5, then yeah, go play the Castlevania Advance Collection or Diablo 2 Resurrected. I'm having a good time with both of those, but at the end of the day, Hartman, Die Hardman, Dead Man, and I guess that ever dirty Norman Reedus just drew me back in. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been great talking with you again this week. And remember, like, subscribe, share with your friends, hate share with your enemies. We'll see you next week.